Fire and Frost, the Hypnopompic Dawn. Chapter. Good morning, world. The alarm never sounded. Instead, Maya's eyes opened to the peculiar purple light filtering through her Calgary apartment window. That same impossible violet that had been appearing in skies across the northern hemisphere for 3 weeks now. Not quite aurora, not quite cloud, the atmospheric phenomenon defied easy categorization, which was precisely why her dissertation committee had finally approved her pivot from traditional atmospheric physics to what she'd begun calling coherent atmospheric anomaly studies. She lay still for a moment in that liminal space between sleep and waking, where her mind felt simultaneously sharper and more fluid than usual. The hypnopompic state, her sleep science collaborators called it, that brief window where the brain's default mode network and task-positive network overlapped in ways they normally didn't, creating flashes of insight that felt like downloading from somewhere else. In her dream, already fading but still present, she'd been standing in a landscape that shifted like a map being rewritten in real time. Rifts opening and closing, terrain morphing from ice to fire, to crystalline structures that sang when the wind touched them. Coffee first, existential wonder second, she muttered, though the order felt increasingly arbitrary. The apartment smelled like cardamom and burnt toast, her roommate Terrence's signature breakfast combination. She found him in the kitchen, phone propped against the sugar bowl, watching what appeared to be a live stream from somewhere in Scandinavia, where the purple clouds were doing something new, forming coherent patterns that looked disturbingly like data visualization. Tour. Morning, Dr. Almost PhD, Terrence said without looking up, his dark fingers flying across his tablet where he was sketching something. Terrence worked in game design, specializing in procedural generation systems, and lately he'd been obsessing over what he called the map event, a series of coordinated changes across multiple online gaming platforms that seemed to respond to real-world atmospheric conditions. Check this out. Someone in Oslo is tracking the cloud formations with spectral analysis. They're showing periodic structures at frequencies that match, and I'm not making this up, optimal data transmission rates. Maya poured coffee, added too much cream, and leaned over his shoulder. The video showed the purple auroral clouds rippling across the Arctic sky in waves that were definitely not random. They pulsed with a rhythm that her pattern recognition trained brain immediately flagged as significant. That's, she started, then stopped. In her field, you learn quickly that calling something impossible was itself impossible. The universe was far stranger than human intuition suggested. That's coherent, like really coherent, not just structured, organized. Right? Terrence's excitement was infectious. And get this. Last night, 3 separate Battle Royale games all dropped updates featuring rift mechanics that mirror this exact phenomenon. Not similar. Mirror. Purple energy storms that reshape terrain, create temporary connections between distant map locations, and exhibit behavior that looks like data roading, Maya finished. She'd been following the same threads, though from a different angle. In her research, she'd started documenting what she called cross-domain coherence events, moments when atmospheric phenomena seemed to correlate with technological systems, biological patterns, and even human behavioral data in ways that classical physics said shouldn't happen, but quantum approaches suggested might be possible in sufficiently complex, interconnected systems. The toast popped up, genuinely burnt this time. Terrence rescued it anyway, scraping off the worst of the char over the sink. I've been thinking about something, he said, his tone shifting from excited to thoughtful. What if we're looking at this wrong? What if it's not that the games are mimicking reality, or reality is mimicking games, but both are expressing something deeper? Like how distant galaxies evolve along similar principles, not because they're communicating, but because they're all following the same underlying physics? Maya sat at their small kitchen table, wrapping her hands around the warm mug. Outside, Calgary was waking up under that strange purple sky. People were heading to work, walking dogs, scraping frost off windshields, ordinary Tuesday morning activities happening beneath extraordinary circumstances that everyone was somehow getting used to. Human adaptability was remarkable and slightly terrifying. Emergent pattern languages, she said. That's what Dr. Okafor called it in the paper she sent me last week. The theory is that in sufficiently complex systems, with enough interaction channels, you start seeing the same organizational principles emerge independently across domains, not because of direct causation, but because certain patterns are just optimal, stable attractors in the possibility space. Terrence pointed his butter knife at her. Yes, exactly that. And if that's true, then what we're seeing isn't anomalous. It's the universe getting organized, like watching a phase transition happen in real time across multiple substrates. The idea sent a shiver through Maya that had nothing to do with the morning cold. Phase transitions, the moment when water becomes ice, when scattered iron filings suddenly align into patterns around a magnet, when individual neurons synchronize into consciousness. Sudden, dramatic, systemic reorganization driven by crossing some critical threshold. That's either profound or we're both having the same caffeine-induced hallucination, she said, but she was already reaching for her laptop. The data was calling. By mid-morning, Maya was deep in the zone that her advisor called productive hyperfocus and her mother called forgetting to eat. She'd pulled up 3 months of atmospheric data from stations across the Northern Hemisphere, overlaid it with reports of the purple cloud phenomena, and cross-referenced it with, and this was the part that would make her committee nervous, crowdsourced reports of the gaming synchronization events. What emerged was undeniable. There was correlation, strong correlation. The appearance of the atmospheric phenomena preceded the gaming updates by roughly 48 hours. But the gaming updates seemed to predict intensification of the phenomena by 24 to 36 hours. Causation was unclear, possibly bidirectional, maybe neither. But the pattern was there. Her phone buzzed. A text from James, her long-distance partner, who was currently finishing his own PhD in computational biology in Edinburgh. Saw your latest data dump. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? She video called him. His face appeared slightly pixelated with the unmistakable purple glow of the Scottish morning behind him. They'd met at a conference 2 years ago, started a friendship over shared frustration with academic publishing timelines, and somehow developed into something more despite 4,000 miles and wildly different research domains. Tell me I'm not crazy, Maya said by way of greeting. James grinned, tired but energized. You're not crazy, or we're all crazy together, which is basically the same as being sane. I've been running network analysis on social media pattern propagation, and Maya, people are self-organizing, not just online communities, but actual behavioral patterns. Sleep-wake cycles are synchronizing across populations that shouldn't have any connection. Dream content reports are showing thematic clustering. It's like watching a global neural network achieve coherence. That's, Maya paused, choosing her words carefully. In science, you had to separate observation from interpretation, data from desire. That's what the data suggests. But James, that's also the kind of pattern humans are really good at seeing, even when it's not there. We're meaning-making machines. How do we know we're not just apophenia? James suggested, using the technical term for seeing meaningful patterns in random data. I thought about that. Ran it past 3 different statistical frameworks designed to detect false pattern recognition. The signal holds. Something is happening, Maya. Something big. Through the video call, Maya could see James's apartment. Books everywhere, a whiteboard covered in network diagrams, and in the corner of the frame, his kitchen window showing that same purple sky. They were thousands of miles apart, looking at the same impossible phenomenon. What's the working theory? She asked, falling into their familiar pattern of thinking out loud together. James leaned back, running a hand through his hair. Okay, so here's where I am. We know complex systems can self-organize. That's not controversial. Ant colonies, immune systems, economies, they all exhibit emergent behavior that arises from simple interactions following local rules. What if consciousness itself is just another case of that? And what if, at a certain scale and connectivity threshold, you start getting emergent properties at the civilizational level? A new sphere, Maya said, Teilhard de Chardin's sphere of human thought, except real, physical, measurable. Exactly, but not mystical, mechanical, or maybe mechanical and mystical are the same thing at sufficient complexity. James's eyes were bright with the particular excitement of someone on the edge of understanding something important. Think about it. We've got 8 billion humans, most of them connected via digital networks, all embedded in the same physical planet with its atmosphere, magnetic field, and geological systems. What if we've hit some kind of coherence threshold? What if the purple clouds are actually the atmosphere responding to, or enabling, some kind of collective cognitive state? Maya's academic training warred with her sense of wonder. That's speculation, she said carefully. Interesting speculation, but we'd need more data, testable predictions, reproducible experiments, peer review, James recited, grinning. I know, but Maya, this is the hypnopompic moment for humanity. That space between dreaming and waking when new ideas flow. We can either be cautious and probably miss the critical window for understanding what's happening, or we can be bold and maybe, just maybe, help guide this transition towards something good. The phrase help guide this transition stuck with Maya. It implied agency, choice, the possibility that humanity wasn't just observing this phase change, but participating in it, perhaps even influencing its direction. Okay, she said, let's say you're right. Let's say something is emerging at the global scale. What do we do with that information? James's smile softened into something more serious. We make sure it's regenerative, healing, aligned with human flourishing and planetary health. Because if consciousness is emerging at the collective level, it's going to be shaped by what we feed it, our values, our systems, our daily choices. Right now, we're at a fork. We could get authoritarian surveillance capitalism on steroids, or we could get something like distributed wisdom, collective intelligence that actually serves collective well-being. Maya spent the afternoon in a collaboration session with researchers from 7 different institutions, all connected via video call, all working on aspects of what they started calling the coherence event. There was Dr. Sarah Okafor from Lagos, studying economic patterns synchronization, Professor Liu from Beijing, tracking changes in atmospheric chemistry, Dr. Ramirez from Mexico City, documenting biological rhythms, and a dozen others, united by the sense that they were watching something unprecedented unfold. The philosophical implications are staggering, Dr. Okafor was saying, her voice clear despite the distance. If we're truly seeing emergent global coherence, then questions about free will, individual versus collective good, and the nature of consciousness itself need radical reframing. We might be transitioning from thinking of humanity as 8 billion separate agents to recognizing ourselves as 8 billion neurons in a larger mind. Without losing individual identity, Maya added quickly. She'd been thinking about this, like how your neurons are individually complex, but also part of your unified consciousness. The whole doesn't erase the parts. Professor Liu nodded thoughtfully. This maps onto concepts in systems theory. Holarchy, not hierarchy. Each level maintains its integrity while participating in larger patterns. Atoms to molecules to cells to organisms to ecosystems. Why not organisms to societies to civilizations to whatever comes next? The conversation ranged across disciplines. Quantum entanglement as a metaphor for non-local correlation, stegmergy in social insects as a model for collective coordination without central control, the mathematics of phase transitions, the philosophy of distributed cognition. Maya took notes furiously, her mind racing to keep up. By the time the call ended, her head was spinning with possibilities. She made dinner, pasta with vegetables, nothing fancy, and ate while watching the news. The purple phenomena had made the headlines now, of course, though the coverage was frustratingly superficial. Climate scientists were puzzled. Atmospheric physicists were excited but cautious. The general public seemed split between fascination and vague anxiety about what it all means. What struck Maya was how normal everything else remained. Stock markets fluctuated. Sports teams played games. People argued about politics and complained about traffic and fell in love and had babies and went about their lives under an impossible purple sky that suggested the universe was far stranger than everyday experience indicated. Maybe that was the point. Maybe the extraordinary could coexist with the ordinary. Maybe world-changing transitions didn't require everything to stop. They just required paying attention. That evening, Maya did something unusual. She joined Terrence in his gaming session. She'd never been much of a gamer, but she wanted to see these rift mechanics he'd been talking about, to experience the metaphor made interactive. The game loaded, a battle royale set on an island that morphed and shifted in real time. Purple storms swept across the landscape, opening temporary rifts that connected distant locations. The terrain itself seemed alive, responding to player actions and collective behavior in ways that felt emergent rather than scripted. See how the rifts form? Terrence pointed at the screen. They're not random. They respond to where players are concentrated, what resources are being contested, how the match flow is developing. It's like the game itself is learning, adapting, trying to create interesting scenarios. Maya watched, fascinated despite herself. In the game's storm mechanics, she could see echoes of the atmospheric phenomena she studied. In the rift systems, she recognized principles from network topology. In the way the landscape reorganized, she saw phase transitions and self-organizing criticality. It's not just entertainment, she said slowly. It's a distributed laboratory. Millions of people engaging with systems that model emergence, adaptation, collective behavior. They're learning these principles intuitively, even if they don't have the vocabulary. Terrence shot her a look. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Games aren't escaping reality. They're practicing it. Every person playing this is getting intuition about complex systems, network effects, emergence. They're training for the kind of thinking we need for the world we're entering. The match ended. They didn't win, but that wasn't really the point. Maya sat back thinking about the millions of people worldwide engaging with these systems, building intuition about complexity and emergence through play. Maybe that was part of the phase transition too. Not just top-down scientific understanding, but bottom-up experiential learning happening at massive scale. Before bed, Maya stepped out onto her apartment's small balcony. The temperature had dropped, frost forming in intricate patterns on the railing. Above, the purple aurora danced and shifted, and for a moment, just a moment, she could swear she saw patterns in it. Not random turbulence, but organized flow, like watching thoughts move through a mind. Her phone buzzed. A message in the research group chat. Aurora activity over Tromsø showing correlation with earthquake precursor signals in Japan. Investigating possible electromagnetic coupling mechanisms. This is getting wild. Another message, this one from James. Can't sleep, too excited. Found evidence of synchronized circadian rhythm shifts across 3 continents. Not explained by light pollution or known environmental factors. Maya, something is definitely happening. She typed back, I know, I feel it too, like the world is waking up. And that was it, wasn't it? That was the perfect metaphor. Humanity in its hypnopompic moment. That space between dreaming and waking, when creative insight flows most freely. Not fully awake yet, but no longer lost in disconnected dreams. Coherence emerging from the fog of sleep. The cold drove her back inside eventually, but Maya found she wasn't tired. Her mind buzzed with connections, possibilities, questions that needed exploring. She opened her laptop and started writing. Not academic prose, but something more fluid, capturing the sense of standing on a threshold, watching the dawn of something unprecedented. We are living through a phase transition, she typed, not in metaphor, but in physics. The emergence of coherence at scales previously impossible. The question isn't whether this is happening, the data is increasingly clear. The question is, what do we do with this moment? How do we ensure that what emerges is aligned with human flourishing, ecological healing, and genuine collective wisdom, rather than dystopian control systems or civilizational collapse? She paused, reading her own words. Too bold for a dissertation, probably. Too speculative for peer review. But true as far as she could tell, or at least true enough to be worth saying. The universe has given us a gift, she continued writing. The technological capability for global connection, the atmospheric conditions that seem to enable or reflect coherence, the cultural moment where millions of people are already practicing complexity, thinking through interactive media, and the urgent necessity of coordinating solutions to planetary challenges. These aren't coincidences. They're components of a phase space that makes transformation possible. What we build now, in the next months and years of this transition, will shape the trajectory of human civilization for generations. We need systems that are regenerative, not extractive, inclusive, not exclusive, distributed, not centralized, transparent, not opaque, healing, not harmful. We need to encode values of dignity, agency, consent, and flourishing into the very architecture of our emerging collective intelligence. This is the work, not just understanding what's happening, but actively participating in steering toward good outcomes. Every researcher documenting these phenomena, every developer building cooperative systems, every artist imagining better futures, every person choosing connection over isolation, all of us are neurons firing in the awakening mind of humanity. Maya stopped rereading what she'd written. It would sound crazy to many people. Overly optimistic, perhaps. Certainly unscientific in its aspirational framing. But science wasn't just about describing what is. It was also about envisioning what could be and working to make it real. She saved the document, titled simply The Hypnopompic Moment, and sent it to James and a few trusted colleagues with a note, "Rough thoughts. Too early to publish, but feels important to articulate. Feedback welcome." Sleep came eventually, though her dreams were vivid and strange. She stood in a vast landscape that stretched to every horizon, populated by billions of lights. Each one a person, she somehow knew. The lights were beginning to pulse in synchrony, not uniformly, but harmonically, like an enormous orchestra finding its rhythm. Purple auroras danced overhead, and she understood they weren't external but emergent, the visible manifestation of the collective thinking happening below. In the dream, she could feel the thoughts of others, not as invasion, but as expansion. Each consciousness remained distinct, but was also part of a larger flow. Ideas moved between people like electricity through neurons, but enriched rather than erased by each transmission. Someone in Lagos had an insight about resource distribution that connected with someone in Tokyo's understanding of circular economics, which sparked someone in Sao Paulo's vision for regenerative agriculture, which inspired someone in Stockholm's approach to democratic governance. And the synergies cascaded outward, building on each other, creating something no individual could have imagined alone. It wasn't utopian. There was still conflict, still disagreement, still the hard work of negotiation and compromise. But there was also unprecedented capacity for coordination, for seeing system-level patterns, for recognizing that individual flourishing and collective well-being weren't opposed but interdependent. The dream landscape shifted, and she saw the rifts and storms from Terrence's games, but understood them now as metaphors made manifest. Rifts weren't breaks or tears, they were connections, pathways between previously separated domains. Storms weren't destruction, they were transformation, the necessary turbulence of phase transitions. The maps that rewrote themselves weren't instability, they were adaptation, the landscape evolving to support new possibilities. And through it all, the purple light, neither wholly physical nor entirely mental, but somehow both, the medium through which the transformation propagated, a carrier wave for coherence, evidence that consciousness wasn't trapped in individual skulls, but was distributed, embedded in the world itself, capable of organizing at scales previously unimaginable. Maya woke to normal morning light, or as normal as light could be under purple-tinged clouds. Wednesday, December 31st, the last day of the year, which felt appropriate somehow, endings and beginnings, thresholds and transitions. She checked her phone. 36 messages in the research chat, spanning time zones. The phenomenon was intensifying. Aurora patterns were appearing at lower latitudes than ever recorded. Multiple gaming platforms had pushed updates featuring increasingly sophisticated emergence mechanics. Social media was ablaze with theories, ranging from aliens to Project Bluebeam to natural atmospheric cycles we don't understand yet. But buried in the noise was signal, actual researchers sharing actual data showing actual patterns that deserve serious investigation. The scientific community was mobilizing, which meant real resources, real attention, real effort to understand what was happening. James had sent a longer message. "Maya, I've been thinking about your question. What do we do with this information? I think the answer is we tell the story. Not just the data, but the narrative. Because humans don't act on numbers alone. We act on meaning. And right now, in this liminal moment, the meaning is up for grabs. We can let fear dominate the narrative, or we can offer a framework of possibility. Not naive optimism, but informed hope. The data suggests coherence is emerging. The question is what values that coherence will embody. And that's determined partly by physical conditions, but also by collective intention, by what we choose to build, practice, and reinforce. Maya read the message twice, feeling something click into place. James was right. This wasn't just a scientific moment. It was a narrative moment. The story humanity told itself about what was happening would shape what actually happened, because consciousness and culture were part of the system being observed, not separate from it. She made coffee, moving through her morning routine with new purpose. Today she would write, not just data analysis, but synthesis. Not just academic papers, but accessible explanations. Not just what was happening, but what it could mean and how to participate in steering toward better outcomes. Terrence emerged from his room, looking like he hadn't slept much. Okay, so hear me out, he said, launching into conversation without preamble. What if we built a game that was explicitly designed to teach systems thinking and cooperative coordination, not hiding the learning or making it subtle, but front and center? A massive collaborative puzzle where players have to work across differences, share resources, and build toward collective goals. Make the gameplay literally about emergence and regenerative systems. Edutainment, Maya said, but she was smiling. Though actually, yeah, why not? If games are already teaching these principles implicitly, why not do it explicitly and with intentional values built in? Right. And the beauty is, it's not preachy, it's experiential. People learn by doing, by feeling the consequences of different choices in a safe sandbox environment. We could make competition work in service of cooperation, teams competing to build the most resilient, inclusive, generative systems. Make the leaderboard about collective flourishing instead of individual domination. They talked through breakfast, sketching ideas on napkins. Some were silly, some were brilliant, many were both. But the core concept felt solid. Interactive experiences that help people develop intuition about complex systems, practice cooperative coordination, and experience the satisfaction of building something regenerative rather than extractive. This is what philosophers call praxis, Maya said. Theory made action. We take what we're learning about emergence and coherence and translate it into tools that help the emergence and coherence happen in beneficial ways. Terrence pointed his coffee mug at her. Exactly. We're not just observers, we're participants. Every system we build, every interaction we design, every value we encode, it all feeds back into the larger pattern. So we might as well be intentional about it. By afternoon, Maya was in flow. She drafted an outline for a paper tentatively titled Atmospheric Coherence Phenomena as Markers of Civilizational Phase Transition, a multi-domain analysis. She'd started a blog post explaining the same concepts in accessible language. She'd sketched a grant proposal for a cross-disciplinary research initiative on emergence and collective intelligence. And underlying it all was a sense of urgency tempered by patience. This was a marathon, not a sprint. Phase transitions took time. Coherence emerged gradually, then suddenly. The work was to plant seeds, build networks, and maintain clear vision about the kind of future worth building toward. Her phone rang, her mother calling from Vancouver. Hi, honey, just wanted to check in. Are you seeing these crazy purple clouds? They're all over the news. People are starting to worry. Maya smiled, hearing the familiar concern in her mother's voice. I'm seeing them, Mom, actually studying them professionally. And yes, people are worried, but I don't think they need to be. It's not dangerous, just strange. The universe showing us something new. Your father thinks it's a natural cycle. Says there have been unusual sky phenomena before, and people always panic, and it always turns out fine. Dad's probably right, Maya said, but this time might be different. Not worse, just different, like genuinely unprecedented. We're living in interesting times. Her mother laughed. That old curse. Well, you're the scientist. Just promise me you're eating enough and sleeping enough and not spending all your time staring at data. I promise, Maya lied. then corrected herself. Actually, I'm not great at the sleeping, and I'm definitely spending too much time with data. But I'm eating. Terrence keeps making breakfast. Good. That boy has sense. You hold on to him as a roommate. They talked for a while longer. About family, about New Year's plans. None, really, just quiet reflection. About her dissertation timeline. Proceeding slowly. Normal conversation, normal relationship. Happening against the backdrop of extraordinary circumstances. It grounded Maya, reminded her that whatever was happening at the civilizational scale, individual lives still mattered, still needed attention and care. After hanging up, she sat for a moment, feeling the weight of both scales simultaneously. The personal and the planetary, the intimate and the infinite. They weren't opposed, she realized. They were nested, fractal. Care at one scale trained capacity for care at all scales. Love for specific people generated love for humanity in general. Attention to small details built skill in perceiving large patterns. The thought felt important, though she couldn't fully articulate why. Something about how the transformation toward collective coherence didn't require losing individual identity or personal connection. Instead, it required strengthening those things because genuine collective intelligence emerged from healthy individuals in authentic relationship, not from homogenized masses or coerced conformity. Evening came, and with it a video call with the research group. They gathered virtually from around the world, morning in some time zones, night in others, but united in real-time attention to shared problems. Dr. Okafor led the discussion. We're getting to a point where we need to decide, are we ready to make public statements about our working theories? The data is compelling but not conclusive. We could wait for more evidence, but the public conversation is happening now, with or without scientific input. What's our obligation? The group debated. Some argued for extreme caution. Premature claims could damage credibility. Others countered that silence in the face of obvious pattern was itself a choice with consequences, potentially allowing misinformation to fill the void. I think we can offer what we know without overreaching, Maya ventured. We can say we're observing unprecedented atmospheric phenomena with apparent correlations to human systems and behavior. We're investigating possible mechanisms. We don't have definitive answers yet, but we're taking it seriously. And here's what we recommend. Pay attention, stay curious, don't panic, and focus on building resilient cooperative systems, regardless of whether these phenomena represent something extraordinary or turn out to have mundane explanations. Professor Liu nodded. That's good framing. Honest about uncertainty, actionable despite it. And the recommendations are valuable, independent of whether the exotic theories are correct. They agreed to draft a joint statement to be released through multiple institutions simultaneously. Nothing sensational, nothing definitive, but a clear signal that the scientific community was engaged in taking the phenomena seriously. The call ended with plans to reconvene in a week, plus daily check-ins via the group chat. Maya felt both energized and exhausted, the particular cocktail of emotions that came from doing work that felt genuinely important. She made dinner again, soup this time, warm and simple, and ate while watching the sun set under purple clouds. The sky was becoming a work of art, layer upon layer of impossible color and light, beautiful and unsettling in equal measure. Terrence joined her on the balcony, bundled against the cold. You know what I realized today? He said. This whole thing, the clouds, the coherence, the phase transition, it's scary if you think we're losing control, but if you think we're gaining capacity for coordination we never had before, it's exciting. Like humanity's biggest problems right now are coordination problems. Climate change, inequality, conflict. They're all cases where we know roughly what needs to happen, but can't coordinate action at sufficient scale. If we're genuinely developing new coordination capabilities, that's hopeful. If we use them wisely, Maya added, coordination can serve any goal. The question is always, coordination toward what end? With what values? Benefiting whom? Right, which is why the work matters. Making sure the systems we build embody the values we want. Making sure the stories we tell orient toward flourishing. making sure the tech we develop serves human needs rather than the reverse. Terrence paused, breath visible in the cold air. I used to think games were just escapism. Now I think they're practice. And maybe that's what we're all doing, practicing for the world we're becoming. They stood in companionable silence, watching the sky darken and the impossible auroras intensify. Somewhere, Maya knew researchers were collecting data. Developers were writing code. Artists were creating visions. Teachers were explaining. Parents were reassuring children. Millions of individual actions, each small but collectively enormous. Each a neuron firing in the awakening mind of humanity. That night, Maya wrote one more document before bed. Not academic, not even really for anyone else. Just clarifying her own thoughts, capturing the gestalt of what this moment felt like from the inside. We are the hypnopompic generation, she wrote, caught between the dream of what humanity has been and the waking reality of what we're becoming. In this liminal space, impossible things become possible. Old certainties dissolve, new patterns emerge, and we have agency, not complete control, but influence. The choices we make now, individually and collectively, will shape the trajectory of this emergence. The purple skies are a gift, if we choose to see them that way. Not a threat or a problem, but a mirror, reflecting back the strangeness and possibility of our current moment. We are more connected than any previous generation. We have more knowledge, more tools, more awareness of the challenges we face. We're not guaranteed to succeed, but we're positioned to try in ways no one has been before. So what do we try to build? Systems that heal rather than harm, technologies that augment human capability without replacing human judgment, economies that regenerate resources rather than depleting them, governance that distributes power rather than concentrating it, cultures that celebrate diversity rather than enforcing conformity, communities that support individual flourishing as the foundation of collective thriving. These aren't utopian fantasies. They're engineering challenges, design problems with design solutions. We know technically how to build most of this. What we're developing now is the coordination capacity to build it at scale, together, across differences and distances. The auroras dance, the rifts open, the maps rewrite themselves. These are not just metaphors, they're the physical manifestation of change happening at every level simultaneously. Atmospheric, technological, social, psychological, everything in phase transition at once, because everything is connected and phase transitions cascade. This is the morning. We're waking up. Consciousness at the planetary scale is becoming possible, perhaps inevitable. The question is, what kind of consciousness? Wise or foolish? Compassionate or cruel? Regenerative or destructive? The answer is being written now in countless choices by billions of people, each thinking the moment is too large to be influenced by individual action. But that's the paradox of emergence. The whole arises from the parts. Individual actions aggregate into collective patterns. Your choices matter because everyone's choices matter. The phase space is high-dimensional, but your coordinates are part of it. Move toward wisdom, compassion, healing, and you've shifted the landscape, however slightly, in that direction. Good morning, world. Let's build something beautiful together. Maya saved the document, titled Hypnopompic Manifesto, and sent it to James with a note. Too grand, too optimistic? Tell me if I've lost perspective. His response came almost immediately. Not too grand, not too optimistic, just honest about both the possibility and the work. This is what leadership looks like in a phase transition, not command and control, but vision and invitation. Keep writing. The world needs this perspective. She read his message 3 times, feeling something warm and bright in her chest. Not the cold fire of ambition, but the steady warmth of purpose aligned with capability, aligned with moment. This was her work, her contribution to the larger pattern. Understanding and explaining, translating between domains, helping people see the connections and possibilities. Tomorrow was the new year. Arbitrary divisions of time, but humans needed such markers. Endings and beginnings, chapters and transitions. The work would continue, research and writing, collaboration and creation, daily choices and long-term vision. But tonight, on this threshold, it was enough to recognize the moment for what it was. The hypnopompic dawn of human civilization, the morning after millennia of dreaming, the first light of coherence emerging from the darkness of separation. Outside her window, purple auroras painted impossible colors across the Alberta sky. Inside her apartment, warmth and safety and the quiet satisfaction of work well done. Both real, both true, both part of the same unfolding story. Maya smiled, closed her laptop, and went to bed. Tomorrow would bring new data, new questions, new opportunities to participate in shaping the emergence. But tonight she could rest in the knowledge that the transition was underway, the pattern was forming, and humanity, strange, brilliant, flawed, magnificent humanity, was waking up to possibilities that had always been there, waiting to be recognized and made real. Good morning, world. Good morning indeed. End of chapter. Zero harm, anti-coercion. Note, this story explores themes of collective emergence and coordination. In reality, any development toward enhanced global coordination systems must prioritize individual agency, informed consent, distributed power, transparency, and active safeguards against manipulation or coercion. The speculative phenomena described are fictional and should not be taken as factual predictions. Technology should serve human flourishing, ecological health, and genuine choice, never the reverse. Build systems that empower rather than control, that amplify rather than replace human judgment, and that remain accountable to those they affect.
Right. What did he say?
He said edge is edge, isn't it? He only chopped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he under?
What did he say?
He said an edge is an edge. He only chopped it down because it spoiled his view. What's Reaper moaning about?
Right. Look, I appreciate your position, Mr. Webley, but you can't go around chopping down other people's hedges without permission.
I suppose.
Yes, I suppose. Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Mr. Webley, I trust you have a license for that firearm.
I don't for this one. Does for this one.
He does for this one.
I couldn't see the view no more. What's he moaning about?
Right. What did he say?
He said edge is edge, isn't it? He only chopped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he under?
What did he say?
He said an edge is an edge. He only chopped it down because it spoiled his view. What's Reaper moaning about?
Right. Look, I appreciate your position, Mr. Webley, but you can't go around chopping down other people's hedges without permission.
I suppose.
Yes, I suppose. Thank you.
Right.
All right.
Mr. Webley, I trust you have a license for that firearm.
I don't for this one. Does for this one.
He does for this one.
What do you mean by this one?
It's like this. Like, what's your fastest hand?
I would say probably my left foot.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, put your left hand up. Like, just go like this, right? Now I'm gonna throw three jabs.
Right.
Don't let me hit them. Don't let me hit your hand.
So what you want me to do?
Just move it out the way.
All right.
So now notice the speed of the first two. Right? You ready?
Yeah.
That's 1, 2. Okay. Now here's the third one. Don't let me hit it. Ready?
Yeah.
How the hell? Come on, man. It's like this. Like, what's your fastest hand?
I would say probably my left foot.
Okay. Yeah, well, hey, put your left hand up. Like, just go like this, right? Now I'm gonna throw three jabs.
Right.
Don't let me hit them. Don't let me hit your hand.
So what you want me to do?
Just move it out the way.
All right.
So now notice the speed of the first two. Right? You ready?
Yeah.
That's 1, 2. Okay, now here's the third one. Don't let me hit it. Ready?
Yeah.
How the hell? Come on, man.
This is when Ninja called out Myth for camping in towers, and then this happened.
Right now, like, the global leaderboard in this game is a joke. It's just wins. It's all just wins. So if I want to sit on my ass all day and get one kill, like,
7 of the hardest stops you can do on ice. Hockey stop. Jump outside edge stop. Hawk stop. Heel to toe slide. Inward toe stop. V slide. X stop. 7 of the hardest stops you can do on ice.
Next time he will say that his entire background is a green screen.
Walking sweat, 220 degrees, long distance.
Wow. took 3 of them.
Next time he will say that his entire background is a green screen.
Walking threat, 220 degrees. Long distance.
It took 3 of them.
Next time he will say,
Give me all your money.
Fuck, dude. Hey, please don't shoot me, sir.
Check your pockets right now. I want your wallet.
Dude, I got a wallet. I got cash. This watch is worth $2,000. You can
All right,
pocket
give me-
right. You want the watch first?
Watch first. Watch first. Yep.
Okay, watch first.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Take it off slowly.
All right. Please don't shoot me, please.
All right. Your wallet next. Where's it at?
It's in my left front.
Yeah. One hand. Slowly.
One hand?
Yep.
My right hand or my left hand?
That hand. In
Dude,
that
I'm
pocket.
fucking scared, man. Please don't shoot me. Dude, I
You got your car keys?
I got a key fob.
Yep.
I got a
Take 'em out.
Mercedes right over
Yep.
there. Please
Move slowly.
please.
Slowly.
Yes.
What's in your back pocket?
I got
You
like
anything?
$1,000 cash.
$1,000. All right. Slowly.
Here, I think I've got. I got a little bit more. Did you see that coming?
No. Give me all your money.
Fuck, dude. Hey, please don't shoot me, sir.
Check your pocket.
Oh!
This area is closed for an event.
What event?
Turn your vehicle around, vacate this area.
I'm a lieutenant for the tribal police. Are you aware of an event?
What event, Mo?
I don't know. There can't be any planned event on Broken Rock land without the approval of the chairman's office.
We got the tribal police head of security here saying that they weren't aware of today's event. My supervisor's on his way.
Hey! Whoa! Stray dogs are a security risk. They're not strays. They just wandered from their home.
That's a stray.
I need to come get you, Chairman, but I'm scared to leave. They're shooting all the dogs in town.
I'll drive myself.
I'll send squad cars to meet you.
Okay.
Oh, hey, stand down.
Those are people's dogs. Stop shooting them. They're pets.
Our orders mandate that any stray animal be removed or
They
neutralized.
call the animal control.
Do you have one?
Of course we have one.
Yeah, how far away?
An hour. Maybe.
Oh, go ahead and call it.
What's this event?
I have no idea. This area is closed for an event.
What's up?
How you
Slim
doing?
Shady. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm chilling. Okay. First question. So who beat you out at the 97 Rap Olympics? I heard you came in second. What's up with
Yeah, the essential elements of an AI neural net are really very similar to a human brain neural net.
वेट करो बॉस, इस चैनल को मिस मत करना। पसंद आए तो चैनल सब्सक्राइब करना, वीडियो को लाइक करना। दोनों भाई इसको
Nice shot. Ooh, nice shot.
Y'all ever wonder what it feel like to get run over by a damn old combine? Damn! I guess I just had to keep looking for that rush, y'all. Hey, we
real potential of AI versus the hype, right? The hype says just rub AI on it, or just, you know, incorporate that AI into your code, it'll be much better and life will be fantastic. But how do we distinguish? Like, where should we start trying to figure out where we can practically integrate AI into